Dear students, greetings for the day. Today we will discuss about introduction to cabin crew. Flight attendants on board a flight collectively form a cabin crew, as distinguished from pilots and engineers in the cockpit, who form the flight crew. The role of a flight attendant ultimately derives from that of similar positions on passenger ships or passenger trains, but it has more direct involvement with passengers because of the confined quarters and often shorter travel times on aircraft. Additionally, the job of a flight attendant revolves around safety to a much greater extent than those of similar staff on other forms of transport. CRM focuses on interpersonal communication, leadership, and decision-making in the cockpit. CRM training encompasses a wide range of knowledge, skills, and attitudes including communication, situational awareness, problem-solving, decision-making, and teamwork to improve air safety. There were sweeping changes made to international airline regulations and to aircraft. Aviation authorities around the world introduced requirements for standard phrases and a greater emphasis on English as a common working language. At the time of the boarding, passengers, most of the time, are welcomed at the door of the airplane by the smiling faces of the cabin crew. The posture and their language must be positive to make the passengers impressed even before takeoff. These will never know that behind the big smile, in fact, are hiding sometimes long hours of work, because newly airline companies resort more often to the double-sector system. This means 4 consecutive flights in one day. For example, Dubai Muscat, Dubai Bahrain, Dubai. If in the technical building at the briefing, the pilots did not present themselves before the cabin crew, they can organize a short meeting with the entire crew even before the flight, before boarding the passengers. As flight attendants arrive at the airplane 30-45 minutes before takeoff, in all this time they have to organize practically the whole flight. Safety and security control. Firstly, after they arrange their personal belongings in compartments, they can start by checking the intercommunication system, by making a short announcement in the cabin and responding to the call coming from the cabin manager. At the moment when the catering and cleaning teams have left the airplane, the cabin crew can start a safety and security control. Besides checking the doors and the cabin equipment, galley's kitchen of the aircraft, and toilets, expiration date, pressure, the number of these on boards, intact seal. The cabin crew check also the alarm system in case of fire or smoke and the jump seat. Through this equipment it is included the megaphone, oxygen tubes, extinguisher, lantern, demo kit, smoke mask, life vest, seat belts for children, surviving kits and so on. In the cabin must be checked the presence of the seat belts for all the passengers' seats, life vests and the safety instruction card, and also the closing system of the masks and the baggage compartment. Just now the cabin crew can start the security process, namely checking all the spaces in the airplane where any person can have access, seat pockets, storage spaceport, wardrobe, toilets, storing compartments of consumables and the trash, all the kitchen spaces and the compartments of emergency equipment and those destined for the cabin crew rest. Any object that doesn't need to be in the airplane must be found by the flight attendant at the ground, before boarding the passengers and taken away by the security team of the airport. The cabin crew who are responsible at the kitchen will check the functionality of the catering equipment, cafeteria, refrigerators, food carts, boilers, electric oven, heating bread, microwave, their fixing system and of course their electric switches. Catering and duty-free. Once completed these procedures, will be taken the catering and duty-free products, to make sure they will have an excellent service the whole flight. Therefore, the cabin crew responsible for selling the duty-free will check their stock. The ones responsible for the bar will fill in the refrigerators with bottles of white wine, champagne, beer and juice, and the ones that are working in the kitchen will number the trays and food casseroles. Now is the time to check if any special foods are brought on board, like the ones for children, diabetics, and passengers with gluten intolerance, lactose, peanuts and so on. Boarding the passengers. Once obtain the approval of the captain, the passenger can be boarded, taken to their seats by the cabin crew. Process followed by distribution of some products on ground, amenity kit, menus, perfumed napkins, candies, newspapers, and a video and audio presentation of the safety equipment and the evacuation procedures in case of emergency. As soon as the passengers buckled their seat belts, raised the seat backs, table trays, feet support and sunshades and closed the electronic equipment, the cabin crew will transmit to the cabin manager that the entire cabin is ready to take off. Such a preparation of the cabin will take place, as well, before landing, insisting on the fact that the passengers must remain seated till the airplane is completely stopped and the fasten the seat belt sign is off. Before landing, is again checked the bar stock and the duty-free compartments being sealed by the flight attendants responsible with it, and in case of a flight with a layover, it's written also an inventory of the products remained on board for the cabin crew that will retrieve the airplane and even can be prepared the products used on the return flight. Announcements on landing. In the announcement made after landing, the cabin crew can give information regarding to the airport, connections, terminals and smoking lounges in the airport. Once landed, as soon as the last passengers leave the airplane, the cabin crew will check again the security process to make sure that nobody forgot any luggage in the airplane. The compartments in the kitchen will be sealed if the plane landed on base or if it will be another cabin crew without them to meet on board.